Has 2023 been normal so far? Well, I'm meteorologist Stephen Abshire here, and really it hasn't felt like it. We've had temperatures well above average for parts of the south. We've seen historic rainfall for parts of the west coast, and really there's one thing to blame, and I'm going to get into that in just a little bit. But taking a look at the south so far, we've seen temperatures here in Arkansas and Oklahoma that have been well above average so far to begin the year. In Fayetteville, the average high temperature for the month of January is normally around 47 degrees for the high, and the average high so far this month in the first 2 weeks has been almost 60 degrees at 59.4 degrees Fahrenheit. For Fort Smith, even warmer. The average high for this month is normally right around 50 degrees, and we've seen high temperatures this month into the 60s. So we're looking at temperatures well above average already. And in terms of rainfall, we've been well below average in rainfall. Normally for Fayetteville, you have around 1.5 inches of rain to begin January. So far, we've had less than 1 inch. We're running ½ an inch below what we did normally expect for this time of the year. And for Fort Smith, they're doing even worse. Almost 1 inch less than what you'd expect for this time of the year. Normally around the same for Fayetteville, but they've only had under ½ an inch of rain so far. But why is that? Why are we seeing such a big change? Well, the reason really comes down to the El Nino and La Nina cycle that we are currently undergoing through parts of the Pacific. So El Nino is when parts of the sea surface temperature right around the equator in the Pacific is above average, and La Nina is the opposite. It's when it's below average, when we have those sea surface temperatures right around the equator off the South America coast where they're below average. And right now, we're seeing below average temperatures, so we're seeing that current phase of La Nina, and really, even though that is thousands of miles away, it can have massive impacts on not only North America, but all parts of the globe, and we're really seeing those impacts already. But taking a look at the current conditions out there in the Pacific, well, right along the equator, we're seeing some cooler water right now. Parts of the northern Pacific is seeing warmer than average water temperatures. Below in the southern Pacific, we're seeing some of those warmer temperatures as well, but right around the equator, some of that cooler water, and that means a big effect for how weather is interacting in parts of the Pacific, and ultimately what's happening here in the States. Taking a look at the typical La Nina pattern during the winter, this is kind of what we've been seeing so far to start this month. Normally, when you have a La Nina here in the south, you have warmer conditions. You also have drier conditions as well. And on the west coast, you normally have some wetter conditions and wetter conditions off to the east coast. But in the south, this is right on par with how 2023 has started. We're in a La Nina winter for this winter, and we're seeing those drier conditions and those warmer conditions to start out the year. Well, is this going to persist? Scientists are saying that La Nina is actually going to begin to decline. We're going to head back towards normal as we head into the spring, but really we're still going to see at least some warm temperatures stick around for much of the south over the next 6 to 10 days. A lot of the east coast as well is going to see above average temperatures as we head into the second half of the month. But here at home, might be closer to average, might see some temperatures back into the 40s and 50s for the highs, instead of closer to 60s for some areas. And then in terms of precipitation, can we also expect to see a little bit less than that, which would normally be what you would expect for a La Nina? Well, actually, we could have a little bit of a wetter next 6 to 10 days. We're looking like we're going to have some wetter than average conditions as we head into the second half of January. So we could see this pattern that we've been stuck in for a few weeks now, where we've been warm, we've been dry, finally begin to move out, kind of be the opposite of what you'd expect for La Nina. So to answer your question, is this normal? Well, it's normal when you have a La Nina, but definitely seeing some crazy weather to begin 2023.